What's going on, everybody? You have Tone here, bringing you guys my team builder and battle for week number 5 of season 2 of the PCL, and this week we are taking on the Arkansas Razorwinds, coached by James or JB Westside. His links and stuff will be in the description down below. Be sure to check him out if you haven't done so already, as well as a link to all the other coaches in the PCL will also be in the link down below as well. So, coming off of a tough first loss last week against Lux and his Groningen Gallades, we're looking to rebound against the Arkansas Razorwinds in a battle of division leaders, as both myself and James come into this battle with a record of 3-1. And he has a very, very formidable and scary team at his disposal, with his team consisting of the Landorus Therian, Zero Aura, Empoleon, Mienshao, Slurpuff, Claydol, Tapu Lele, Decidueye, Kyurem, Swellow, and the Mega Gyarados, with his Z users being the Zero Aura and the Slurpuff. So, right off the bat, just looking at all the threats he has on his team, Lando T, Lele, Zero Aura is actually a pretty big nuisance to my team because my my electric resist is Seismitoad, and Zero Aura gets access to Grass Knot, and without my Seismitoad, I don't really have much in terms of counterplay to Zero Aura. I do have a Vikavolt that resists electric, but Zero Aura does get Fire Punch, so it would get blown back by that too. Other things to deal with, especially, is that Lele and the Lando T, like, those two together is actually, like, very, very annoying because most of the steel types that Lele struggles to get past is dealt with by Lando T, which is basically, I have an Aegislash, so I feel like he has the right amount of support for Lele to, like, blow through my team, and I just do not like that kind of combination, but I try my best in terms of trying to build a team that best counteracted what any combination of 6 you might try to bring in this matchup. So I also want to apologize in advance because I am recording this after I didn't have time during the week to get this out and record it, and I'm kind of like rushing this because I'm already behind schedule as it is. So please excuse my a bit of a rush. I still want to be as informative as I possibly can in terms of this team builder. So let's jump right into the matchup here. So first Pokemon you see on your screen, we have a Mega Gallade with Bulk Up, Drain Punch, Ice Punch, and Poison Jab with max HP, 36 attack, and 220 in speed. The speed is enough to outspeed Mienshao, and everything slower than that, max HP, and then the rest I threw into attack just to give its attacks a little bit more oomph. Everything else is pretty straightforward. The combination of Drain Punch, Ice Punch, and Poison Jab hits its entire team neutrally. Drain Punch is nice for getting back health on stuff like Empoleon, on Mienshao, Ice Punch for the Landorus, and Poison Jab for the Lele and the Slurpuff. Nothing much else to say about that, just a very, very nice, bulky Pokemon to have in the back for my team. Next up is my Aegislash with leftovers, Substitute King Shield, Shadow Ball, and Sacred Sword with max HP, 52 defense, and 204 Spadef with a sassy nature. The HP and the Spadef investment is enough to guarantee take 2 Spec Shadow Balls from Tapu Lele after Rocks, and the 52 defense investment with max HP lets my Aegislash take a Earthquake from Lando T from full. I can take one after Rocks, so it's a roll. But like I said, this is my dedicated response to the Tapu Lele, as I don't really have anything else on my team that resists a combination of Psychic plus Fairy. And like I said, while he does have Shadow Ball, I can take one, and a second one potentially, barring no crits or Spadef drops, and then just go for a nice Shadow Ball and potentially 2 a KO that thing. Substitute is nice because I can force a lot of switches on some of his main threats, just to a lesser extent, something like Claydol or the Lele. If he doesn't have Shadow Ball, I can sub up on that, get up a free hit with Shadow Ball. Sacred Sword is nice for chipping down at the Empoleon and the Kyurem. as well as preventing Mega Gyarados from just completely setting up in front of Aegislash's face for free. So that's my reasoning behind Sacred Sword, and it's my way of also hitting the Swallow as well. Next up is my primary win con, I kind of want to say in this case, which is my Nihilego Expert Belt, and again, it's speed boosting nature. Like it's been speed boosting the entire time, but I have Power Gem, Sludge Wave, Charge Beam, and Hidden Power Ice with speed boosting nature, so I'm not running max special attack. I'm running max speed. Didn't need to. I could just sped crept like Lele or something like that, but decided not to. Just try to get as much as I can from this particular set. Power Gem is nice general stab coverage for hitting the something like Kyurem, the Gyarados pre-Mega, and the Swallow. Sludge Wave for the fairies, the Slurpuff and the Lele. Charge Beam to get a potential special attack increase on something like Empoleon, which can easily switch on Nihilego otherwise, and Hidden Power Ice is there for the Landorus. So if I'm able to potentially get a Charge Beam boost and a Speed boost on top of that, I can outspeed something like a potential Scarf Landorus. I knock it out with HP Ice. Get another Speed boost. I outspeed like Zeraora, anything of the sort. And this can potentially put in a lot of work if I'm able to use this thing correctly. So that is my Nihilego set. And next up is my Hydreigon with Darkinium Z, Dark Pulse, Earth Power, Flash Cannon, Roost with max special attack, 20 to special defense, 236 in speed. With a Timid Nature, speed is enough to outspeed non-Scarf Lele. Just looking at the matchup, I felt as though I originally was Choice Specs on this team prior, but I felt like I changed it to Darkinium Z just because I felt like getting a nuke like Z Dark Pulse off would be a lot more beneficial to me in the long run because of the fact that he does have a good amount of fairy dark resist, well, mainly the Mienshao and the Slurpuff, and Lele can take one, but I figured and his Mega Gyarados pre-Mega is his Dark Resist, so I'm able to like fire off a Z Dark Pulse on anything barring the Mega Gyarados that has a Mega Evolve. It can do a good chunk of damage to anything, and then if it's in range of like another Dark Pulse or Earth Power is mainly here for the Empoleon, and Flash Cannon is for the Fairy types as I mentioned. Roost is nice for some added longevity in the matchup. So that's pretty much it for my Hydreigon. Next is my Seismitoad with Rindo Berry, Stealth Rock, Icy Wind, Earthquake, and Low Kick, with max HP, 212 defense, and 44 special defense with a relaxed nature. The HP and the defense investment is enough to take 2 Earthquakes from Landorus Theory and After Rocks, and the rest I just threw in this, but I have to take some special attacks a little bit better. Rindo Berry is nice for something like a potential Grass Knot Zeraora or Grass Knot Empoleon. Hit both of those things with an Earthquake. Rocks are nice to chip away at his team, stuff like Landorus, stuff like the Kyurem. Get some nice chip damage off on those things. Icy Wind for the Landorus, and my general form of speed control. Earthquake, nice and spammable against most of his team. And then the last move, I originally had Protect, but I switched it out for Low Kick because just looking at the matchup, Mega Gyarados was actually a huge problem, and I felt like the last thing I wanted to do was have that thing set up for free. And if it was like a sub DD Mega Gyarados, then if I'm intimidated, Earthquake won't break the sub if he runs like enough bulk investment on Mega Gyarados. So I figured to mitigate the Intimidate drop, I run Low Kick to guarantee I can at the very least break the sub of a Mega Gyarados no matter what. And yeah, it was pretty much preventing him from setting up getting the +1 for free with his Mega Gyarados against my team. I kinda wish I had went Poison Touch over Water Absorb, considering that Mega Gyarados is his water type, and since Mold Breaker bypasses it. Well, this is Empoleon, but in hindsight, Empoleon won't be cooking Scald against the Seismitoad too, so I kinda could have gotten away with running Poison Touch on this set just for like Low Kick, but it still was a little bit too gimmicky, so I just kept it at Water Absorb because just felt a bit more manageable at the very least. And then lastly is my Crobat with Black Sludge, Brave Bird, Super Fang, Taunt, and Roost with 244 HP, 12 defense, max speed, Jolly Nature. It may seem redundant that I'm running max speed when I don't really outspeed anything on his team, but at the very least, max speed Crobat does outspeed a +1 Adamant max speed Mega Gyarados. If he Dragon Dances up and he's not Jolly, this Crobat outspeeds him because Adamant max speed Mega Gyarados hits 199. And so this Crobat's hitting 200 to outspeed that, because like I said, Mega Gyarados is actually a huge problem for my team, because the combination of Water plus Dark just hits my team ridiculously hard in this matchup. So this is my dedicated, not my dedicated switch into Mega Gyarados. That's still going to be defaulting to either Seismitoad or the Hydreigon. This is more so my dedicated response to something like the Landorus, as it's the only thing on my team that can potentially take a hit like Earthquake. I'm not including Hydreigon because it can then get destroyed by a U-turn. And then again, in hindsight, Crobat gets destroyed by Stone Edge, so I have to be very careful about those sorts of physical threats. So yeah, that's going to be it for the team builder. Again, sorry if I feel like this is a bit rushed, but let's move on to the battle and see how we did. Alright guys, so another apology on my behalf, because we ended up disconnecting during the Wi-Fi battle, so we ended up finishing the game up on Showdown. Luckily for us, there was no weird altercations we had to make during the battle to make things work out like they did in the actual battle. Things more or less was pretty straightforward as far as recreating the battle went. So as you can see, my opponent opted to bring the Mega Gyarados, the Kyurem, the Swellow, the Zeraora, the Landorus Therian, and the Empoleon. So first thing, he did not bring Tapu Lele, which actually surprised me, because I was honestly expecting Lele to come. As I mentioned earlier, I know I have an Aegislash which deals with Lele, but like I said, I felt like he had enough on his team between Lando T, Mega Gyarados, Zeraora. I felt like he had enough to whittle down my Aegislash to the point where Lele actually put in a lot of work in this matchup, because like I said, Aegislash is my Lele response no matter what. So yeah, me not seeing Lele was a huge relief for me. But also looking at him from a matchup standpoint, the one mon I feel like could really go in my matchup is my Nihilego, considering the fact that if I am able to whittle down his Empoleon and get a potential Charge Beam boost with Nihilego and a speed boost, then Nihilego can potentially clean up the game, especially considering that his Rock Resist is the Empoleon, which is not the most difficult thing to wear down considering the team I brought in this matchup. So moving into the recreation that we had to do here, my best bet, or not my best bet, my best lead in this case was 100% Hydreigon, if only for the fact that he has no Dark Resist. Like, his Dark Resist is Mega Evolving the Gyarados, which is the only way he'll be able to do that is if he leads off directly with said Gyarados. So as I mentioned, I'm going to lead off with my Hydreigon, and he is going to end up leading off with his Landorus T. And I figured turn 1, I have absolutely no reason not to fire off my Z move, as he reveals he U-turns out into his Empoleon as I fire off my Z move. On this Empoleon, I get off a fantastic 58% on the Empoleon. So if I want to backtrack to mention that he revealed that he is a Choice Scarf Lando T, which means he's Jolly, so that means that my Aegislash guarantee lives a Earthquake from Lando T from full, since he's not Adamant. So he gives, so the recreation had him leading off with Landorus. I led off with Hydreigon. He U-turned out into Empoleon as I fired off my Z move, because like I said, he has no Dark Resist. His Dark Resist is the Gyarados post Mega. So I figured it was in my best interest to fire off my Z move, as the incoming Empoleon takes 58% from the Z move. And now I'm just going to click Earth Power, because while I wanted to keep this thing relatively healthy for something for my Nihilego to get a Charge Beam off on and get a special attack boost, I figured just go for the kill, because Like, there was literally nothing stopping him from, like, either trying to preserve this or switch out or whatnot. So I'm just going to go straight for the safe Earth Power here. And we're going to knock out the Empoleon with the Earth Power. So unless this is Scarf Rocks and Lando T, we will not have to be dealing with hazards in this game. So now he sends back out his Scarf Lando T. I want to keep my Hydreigon around here, so I'm going to make the switch out into my Crobat, as he's going to go for the very relatively safe U-turn out into his Zeraora. And now here, I'm going to make a bit of an aggressive play, because I figured me going Cybertail felt like it was so obvious. So this turn I made the aggressive play, forced him to go for Plasma Fist, and I'm going to go for a Super Fang, because my team does not switch in very well on the Zeraora whatsoever. Because I could go Hydreigon, but at the same time, he could also go, he could Plasma Fist into close combat, knock out Hydreigon, so didn't want to risk that. So I'm just going to go for Super Fang here. He does overpredict in hindsight. He did make the correct play, because Knockoff was essentially free on everything except for the Hydreigon, which was Z move. My Gallade would have gotten a justified boost. And he was really just trying to catch the Seismitoad, and I couldn't risk going to Seismitoad, because if he knocked off, then I would guarantee Diter to Grass Knot the following turn, especially considering he did reveal to be Life Orb. So here I was going to make a judgment call. Was I going to be aggressive again and attack the Zeraora, or do I go Seismitoad and hope he doesn't double knock off? But I'm going to make the play and sack off Crobat here as he just goes straight for the Plasma Fist. I should have preserved Crobat, trying not to force the issue here, but I really just wanted to free switch into my Seismitoad, because it guarantees that no matter what attack he goes for, Grass Knot will not kill me through my Rindo Berry, even with a crit, and I felt it was in my best interest to just go straight for the Earthquake here, because like I mentioned before, Zeraora is a huge threat to my team. So he's going to Grass Knot here. I'm going to pop my Rindo Berry. We do get crit, which does suck, but at the same time it didn't matter here. We knock out the Zeraora with the Earthquake there. So it comes Mega Gyarados here. He intimidates my Seismitoad, and now I'm thinking, this is sort of a 50-50, because what I could do is I had two options. I either Icy Wind this, and he goes for he Mega Evolves and Dragon Dances, or I just click Low Kick, because I'm at -1, and the way he sent this thing in, I'm assuming that he is probably a bulkier Mega Gyarados, if only for the fact that he wouldn't have gone on to Gyarados right away. I felt like his safest bet would just be to go straight into Landorus and then U-turn, because my U-turn resist is gone for the most part. So in hindsight, it ended up working out here. So here I'm wanting to just click Low Kick just to prevent the Mega Gyarados from setting up for free or going for a sub or any of that sense. So he's going to Mega Evolve here, reveal Mold Breaker, and he does go for Substitute as I Low Kick the sub Fades. He goes on to Swallow on my next Low Kick, does nothing, and then he reveals to be Flame Orb Physical Swallow, which is a bit more annoying in this case. While I do have a response to Swallow being the Aegislash, I don't want to go hard AG on this thing, because it could easily just U-turn right back out into Landorus, and I wanted to avoid giving him as much free switches as I wanted to in this game. And while Rocks would have been nice for the Kyurem, I felt it was in my best interest to just sack off the Seismitoad to the Swallow Facade here, as he's just going to knock out my Toad. I go out into my Aegislash here, and considering this was a free sub, because this Physical Swallow doesn't have anything to touch me hit with super effectively, I get up a free sub here on the incoming Lando, and then I King Shield as he choice locks himself into Earthquake as I fire off a Shadow Ball on the Lando T as he breaks my sub. Does about half, and now I'm going to switch out into my Hydreigon as he makes a good play and switched out himself into the Mega Gyarados. So here's where the recreation ended. So from here on out, we're on pilot mode. So here I'm going to go for Earth Power here because Earth Power was literally the only move I had on Hydreigon that got a free. It was the only thing on the team that had a free switch into my Hydreigon for the most part. And I figured I could have went for Dark Pulse. I could have, but I couldn't just like risk him setting up, going for Ice Fang and all that stuff. So I just went for the safe Earth Power as he switched out and goes out into his Swellow. And now I'm essentially just in a situation where I'm actually just going to sack off my Hydreigon here to the U-turn. That crit did not matter whatsoever. Just to point that out. And at the very least, it kind of works out for me because I now get Switch Initiative as he goes out into his Kyurem, which gives me a free switch into my Mega Blade, and then I'm just going to Mega Evolve and click Drain Punch to 2 KO this thing as he goes for Ice Beam. That's 40. I go for Drain Punch again, knock out the Kyurem, but it's going to give him a free switch into Swellow as he's going to just click Brave Bird, knock out my Mega Blade. I could have went Aegislash there, but it really didn't seem like that much of a difference in this case. Although I probably could have, but I couldn't risk him going for U-turn here. And now I'm going to go into my Aegislash, and here is where things get a little bit more complicated. So this is pretty much a repeat performance of what happened earlier on in the match in this exact situation where essentially I feel like I'm going to get a free sub up on this Swellow because I'm assuming that he would have to have Steel Wing on this Swellow for my Nihilego or else it's walled by it. The other thing I could have did was, instead of going Aegislash, I could have gone Nihilego right here. But I will talk about that at the end of the match. So I'm going to go into my Aegislash here. I'm going to click sub as he's going to make the hard switch out into Landorus as I go for a substitute. And then I'm going to click King Shield, get back some leftover recovery as he is just going to fire off an EQ. And now I'm going to go for a Shadow Ball here as he breaks my sub with the next EQ. I go and change my stance, go for Shadow Ball, knock out the Landorus. And now he gets to go out into his Mega Gyarados. I am going to play aggressive with my Aegislash here because this is a situation where I don't know his full moveset. All I've seen is Substitute. And he can try to like set up or Dragon Dance right now, expecting me to like maybe go for King Shield as he goes for Substitute. This came down to a 50-50. And this was more so the fact that I could not let the Mega Gyarados set up for free. So I make the aggressive play here as I'm going to go for the Sacred Sword because I haven't revealed that move yet on my Aegislash, and he's probably thinking that his Gyarados is going to freely set up and win the game for him at this scenario, but he's going to sub here as I go for Sacred Sword, break this thing's Substitute. And now here I could have went for King Shield, but I decided to play aggressive again. He goes for Crunch, knocks out my Aegislash, and now my Nihilego comes out. And essentially, here's where I was thinking, like, oh, if I had, like, Thunderbolt, I would have clicked it here, knocked out the Gyarados, got a speed boost, outsped the Swellow, Power Gem that, knocked it out, and then I would have won that way. But unfortunately, I don't have Thunderbolt. I had Charge Beam, and Charge Beam, even with Expert Belt, is not enough to knock out the Mega Gyarados. I essentially would have had to hope for a crit at this point. So I'm just going to go for Power Gem, and it's not going to do much. And he's going to go for the Waterfall, knock on the Nihilego, and we're going to lose 2-0 to James and his Archosaur Razorwinds. Now, just to backtrack to the turn where Aegislash was in on Swellow for the second time, right then and there, I could have easily gone Nihilego and potentially won the game right there, because what I could have did was, and I didn't do any calcs, that was pretty much the reasoning why I did go Nihilego that turn, mainly because of the fact that I was already under the assumption that since it's his physical swallow, I assumed he must have Steel Wing. I didn't calc the Steel Wing damage on Nihilego because I already assumed it died to guts boosted Steel Wing, and it turns out it didn't. Like, he literally would have had to crit me. I would have went for Charge Beam. If I got the special attack boost and the speed boost, I 100% won the game right there. Because even if the Landorus was still alive, I could have HPI'd the Landorus. He goes into Gyarados. I would have Charge Beamed that. And plus one Expert Bell boosted Charge Beam would have knocked on Mega Gyarados. And I potentially could have won this game 2-0. Like, Nihilego just looks so promising from a matchup standpoint, and I just like screwed up the end game. Like, I feel like I did everything right up until the point where I went to 8/ instead of going Nihilego on the Swallow. But I can't really complain about anything else in this matchup. Like, it was a clean game. I can't complain about that as opposed to what happened to me last week. So unfortunately, we are going to take our second loss in a row and drop to 3-2. So we're looking to rebound here. Not really the way I wanted to continue after winning the first 3 matches on Wi-Fi. So really got to step up my game heading into our next week's game against the Minnesota Twin Needles, coached by Sock, in a division matchup. So we will be playing him again sometime down the road. So once again, GG to James. Really solid matchup, really fun team he brought. Really surprised he didn't bring Lele. Like I said, I really thought that Lele did a crap ton of work against my team. But yeah, that's gonna be it from me, guys. Like I said, James's links and stuff will be in the description, as well as all the other coaches in the PCL. The Discord link will also be in the description. And that's going to be it from me. Hope you guys did enjoy. And until the next time, guys, this is Tone, signing off for now. Peace out.